She is a partner in a Texas law firm where she routinely represents some of the biggest companies in the country. As you can imagine, the road has not been easy, but instead of being blindsided and paralyzed by a situation, she transcends them through the power of pivoting. Here with more is Marisa Ybarra-Williams. Hi, Marisa. How are you today?
Hi, Kelli. Thanks for having me. I'm great.
Thanks for being here. First, let's talk about Latinas in law. What are the current demographics right now?
Nationwide, we make up about 18.5% of the population, but we are 2% of lawyers in the country. In Texas, the numbers are a little bit better, but not. Make up 10% of lawyers as a group, but we are about 40% of the population. And then when it comes to Latinas in particular, we are 5%. So we are historically, proportionately, oh my goodness, the most underrepresented racial and ethnic group of any of the different racial groups.
So how do judges and even colleagues and clients respond, for example, when you walk into a room?
At first, I think I was naive. I didn't think that was a big deal. And I didn't think that was something that I was going to have to deal with, truthfully. But it still happens today. When I walk into a room, the assumption is I'm the assistant, I'm the paralegal, I'm court staff, but it is never that I'm the attorney.
So did things possibly change when you became a partner?
And they didn't. And that actually is what set me down this journey to discover the power of pivoting. Because I really thought if I worked hard enough, long enough, smart enough, eventually I would earn my keep, right? I would get the credibility, I would get the respect. But to my surprise, none of that mattered. I was still seen primarily as a girl and not as a lawyer. And that is actually what led me down this journey.
So you mentioned the power of pivoting. Explain what that is and how you came up with it.
So it's a framework. It's a framework for processing life, yourself, others, how you relate to it, what you see. I kind of use the analogy that it's like putting on a different pair of glasses. All you're doing is changing your vision, but the world looks entirely different. And it came out of trying everything else and it not working.
So how can you help others with the power of pivoting?
So the first things that we do when I teach people how to do the power of pivoting is I talk about the assumptions it makes, right? Because I want people to understand where we're starting. And the first thing is life is not personal. It is a series of lessons. The second thing is the world needs you specifically. That is why we're here. We are here to accomplish whatever it is that we are put on this earth to do. And if the world didn't need us, we wouldn't be here. And three, because of those two things, every single circumstance, no matter how negative, no matter how painful, could actually be and often is the catalyst for your success, the catalyst for your growth, the catalyst for your next developmental journey. So in that way, it gives you the ability to process the world around you from a distance, kind of like bird's eye view. And when you do so, you can see the world much more clearly.
So give us some examples, if you will, of challenging life events and how the power of pivoting has changed.
So I'll tell you, one of the things I often would get was the most difficult or worst case that the firm had. And before the power of pivoting, it would look like someone who thought very little of me, was dissatisfied with any attorney on any case ever, and made my life very difficult. After the power of pivoting, I started looking, I took a step back and realized actually it was an opportunity. If I could turn this client into a believer, if I could find a way to bridge that gap, he could actually be the key to more success for me in the future. And that's exactly what happened. We had a very difficult client. Everyone who ever dealt with them understood that. And once I was able to help him, and once I was able to succeed where others hadn't, and actually be able to do more for his case, all of a sudden I got all these accolades. I got more cases for certain carriers. My career took off, all because instead of being boggled down by what felt very personal, I was able to take a step back, treat him more so like like a case that needed to be analyzed, and figured out some real action steps that we could take together that did not require him to like me or respect me, but it allowed me to do my job. And in doing my job, I succeeded.
How can you teaching the power of pivoting to other people, how can it help them?
Well, my whole take now is, how do I empower people? You know, we have so many things thrown at us every day. This world is changing. It is scary. Financially, everything that we have going on, it just puts you in a position where you can feel helpless. You can feel like a victim. You can feel like as though you have no control and other things are running your life. And this gives you the ability to make a decision. Do you want to take a bird's eye view and maybe look at other action items you can take? Even the decision not to do anything different empowers you, because it puts you back in the seat. It puts you back in the driver's seat where you could decide, is this how I want to be? Is this what I want to let run me? Or am I interested in doing something different? Am I interested in seeing the lesson that this might be able to show me? Am I interested in develop a different skill that might be called for? Whatever you choose, it always puts you back in control.
How are you teaching other people the power of pivoting? Are you doing workshops? Are you speaking?
So I started with speaking, and then inevitably people would ask for more, right? And that's a wonderful thing. And it really warmed my heart. But more importantly, it sent me on a journey. So yes, I am creating the power of pivoting. It's a course that I'm going to be offering through Mastermind. It'll have video models. It'll have worksheets. It'll have spreadsheets. It'll have recap sheets. So it kind of delves into the framework of what you need, the assumptions that we make, why we make them, societal factors that are really true, bias that is true, prejudice that is true, institutional factors that are true that we need to discuss so you understand where you are in this world and why people might be seeing what they're seeing. And then also give you more real life examples of, hey, this is a situation I dealt with. Here is what I saw. Here's the pivot I made. Here are different options you might look at yourself. So it really hopes to give you the foundational elements so that any person that purchases this product can actually walk away and go, you know what? I can do something about this now.
What is that going to mean to you when you have the impact to change other people's lives like this?
Well, that's why I'm doing this. You know, I'm busy. As my husband will tell you, I work all days of every single day of the week, into the evening, every single evening. But I found time to do this for the last year because I remember what it's like to feel those things. Mm-hmm. I remember what it felt like to be unseen, unvalued, undermined, doubted, dismissed. It was horrible. And if I can help anyone not have to feel that way at any point in their life, that is worth it. That's worth all the endless nights. That's worth all the hours. And that's worth every single bit of it to me, is to be able to help just one person not feel the way I did for all those years.
So how can people get in touch with you and find out more about the power of pivoting?
So right now, the best way to get a hold of me is going to be through my email. And it's a long one, so bear with me. It's mybarra.williams@gmail.com. And once they email me, I get to put them on a list. And so once the mastermind course is up and ready to be purchased, I'll be able to send in direct links to that program and any other offerings that I may be creating. I do have some other offerings that I think I'm going to be putting together based on kind of the response that I've received thus far. So if they email me from there, I can put them on the list and they'll be the first ones to find out what it is that we have coming up, how they can get it, and how I can be of service.
Marisa Ybarra-Williams, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to more on the power of pivoting.
Thank you.
Stay with
Really
us. We'll be right back.